Hello, my name is Brenda Waller, and I'm a graduate student at Tarleton State University, and I am studying to be a professional reading specialist, and I also teach second grade. My presentation is on Nearpod for shared reading lessons. Have you ever wondered how you can improve your students' comprehension? I know I have. I've struggled with getting my students to stay focused on the story that we're reading and be able to answer questions accurately. Have you ever wondered how to make your shared reading lessons more engaging to all students? I know I have. It was very hard to get my students to stay focused on our lesson. I would walk around the room and see them doodling or playing with pencils or crayons or whatever they had in their desk. So I knew I needed to make a fix. So I decided to incorporate Nearpod this year. So why is Nearpod so great? Well, the Silver Edition is free, and it has lots of different activities that you can incorporate in your Nearpod lesson. You can create polls, interactive quizzes, open-ended questions, and create beautiful slideshows. But for some people, that's not enough. So if you want to upgrade, you can get the Gold Edition for $120 a year. That's only $12 a month, and believe me, it is worth it. You can assign homework lessons, so you can assign lessons that students do at their own pace. You can create field trips, virtual field trips. So let's say you're reading a book about Washington, D.C. You can create a virtual field trip so your students can actually see Washington, D.C. without actually having to go there. And it also keeps your students engaged during the lesson. And the more engaged they are, the more they will comprehend, because they're focusing on what you're reading and what you're doing, and they're really trying hard. And you don't need to be a school with one-to-one technology to use Nearpod. It can be used with a small group of students who are sharing an iPad or a computer. My school is not one-to-one, and I usually have groups of 2 to 3 students sharing an iPad. They just put the iPad in the middle of either the 2 of them or the 3 of them, and they take turns typing. And you can add so many things into one lesson. And you can even add more if you decide to pay the $12 a month to be a Gold member. So here are a few photos of students that are engaged in Nearpod lessons, in a shared reading Nearpod lesson. Nobody is looking around. Everyone seems focused on what they're doing. And so how can Nearpod improve comprehension during a shared reading lesson? Well, you can add a PDF version of a text so that every student has access to the text. You can incorporate questions that are similar to a state assessment questions. You can include various content like slides, 3D images, simulations, field trips, videos, audio clips, PDFs, live Twitter streams, and web content. You can add a variety of different activities as well. Being able to add a PDF version is so great because there's no digging around for textbooks. There's no standing at the copier making copies. You just upload it to Nearpod and it's there. Being able to incorporate questions that are similar to state assessment questions is very important. You want to expose your students to questions that they might see on a state test or even your district assessments. Being able to have 3D images, field trips, videos, audio clips, that makes the lesson more engaging and more fun. Also, being able to access a website. I know it's hard to tell students, hey, go to this website, because as a second grader, it's hard to find those websites. So if you upload it to Nearpod and have it there, all they have to do is click. So Nearpod is really, really great. So what Nearpod activities match comprehension skills? Well, for author's purpose, I like to do open-ended questions, sometimes quiz questions, because author's purpose questions are on state assessments as well as district assessments. Collaboration, and the poll questions. When I want my students to practice asking questions while they're reading, open-ended questions or collaboration activities are good activities to have them do where they can ask a question. Monitor and adjust comprehension. I like to use quizzes, so asking questions that are similar to the things that they would see on district assessments. Open-ended questions are also good as well. When students are making inferences, I like them to use open-ended questions or collaboration. So they can stay with open-ended questions, they can type in their whatever inference they're making. With collaboration, all the students can be able to see everything that they're doing. When students are retelling what they've read, I like comprehension and open-ended collaboration and open-ended questions. Like I said before, collaboration, all the students can see their responses, and open-ended, I can see their responses. Make connections. Open-ended questions or draw it. I like draw it for making connections because they can draw what connection they made. If they made a connection in their life, they can draw the scene, and I can see it. And then finally, for context clues, I like the memory test, matching pairs, as well as fill in the blank. So now I'm going to show you how to create your own Nearpod lesson. It's so simple. So first you click Create, and then click Lesson. And then you're going to click Content, and I'm going to click Slide because I want to name my lesson. So I'm going to call it One Good Turn Deserves Another. After the book that we're reading. And if I want to, I can go in and either do a short video or an image, but I'm not going to do that right now. And I want to add another slide. This time I'm going to add a PDF version of the book. And it's on my desktop. One Good Turn Deserves Another. And it is uploaded. Then I want to add an activity. So I'm going to add a collaborative question. And this week we've been talking about character traits. So I am going to ask, how would you describe the mouse? What character traits describe the mouse? And you can change the background, so I'm going to change it to this one because I feel like they can see it better. And I'm going to save. And I might throw in an open-ended question. And with open-ended questions, you can add in a picture, a video, an audio clip, or a PDF if you want the students to go back and look in the story. So I definitely want them to do that. So I'm going to put in One Good Turn Deserves Another. And I'm going to put, would you describe the coyote as clever? Why or why not? And they can look back in the story to prove that to be true or not true. And so Nearpod, super easy to create slides. Of course, this is definitely not a whole shared reading. This is just a snippet of shared reading, but I hope that you can use Nearpod for your shared reading.